pleasant good evening to everybody around the great state of Michigan. We're at home, we're at the Breslin Center, and we are about to hit the halfway point of this long Big Ten season.
Where my dogs at? Hey, hey, where my dogs at? Hey.
And despite all the ups and downs, MSU walks in tied for first place with Illinois. The formula has been pretty basic for a long time. It all starts with winning all your home games if you want to be a champ.
Michigan State cannot take Northwestern lightly. Tom Izzo wants him to play a full 40 minutes. I'd love to see a full 40 minutes out of this ball club tonight.
Almost got the steal. Now a lob up top. Winston to Hall. In and Cassius Winston. Foster Lawyer into the game. He's got it right here. He lets it fly and he knocks it down as he falls down. He may have missed it, but Gabe Brown did not, and Chris Collins wants a timeout. Lawyer thought about it, almost left his feet. Winston will trigger, and he knocks it down. Lawyer hit one earlier, hit a second right there. Barrett, power dribble, blocked. Another one for Bingham. 5 first-half blocks for the Spartans. Tillman, good kick out. Extra pass, Arns. Corner pocket three is good. Cassius Winston, you know what he can do, and he'll do it all night. Instead, Hall sets a screen. Henry drops it off for Xavier Tillman. Right now, Northwestern only with 24. Winston knocked it free, and Winston lays it in.
Beautiful pass by Lawyer.
Now Henry gets the steal. Here we go, folks. Showtime. Well, this crowd is re-energized. Oh, boy. Michigan State, 17 assists on 20 field goals. Young had it swatted by Bingham. This crowd is rocking in East Lansing. It's the least amount of minutes of them, the freshman. Here's Bingham, short, and he puts it back. What a night. He's got 6.7 rebounds and 3 block shots. Instead, Winston from the wing. He says, I don't care about the far corner, Mr. Morris. Winston.
MSU will not fire as this game has now hit zeros on the clock. Final score from East Lansing. It's Michigan State 79, Northwestern's got 50.
And last week she went 9.825. She had a pretty decent sized hop, but that was beautiful. She's working on the landings back in practice, and that's exactly what we want to see from her.
It is a common thing in gymnastics to feel like you want to be perfect and find your identity just because you're always constantly being judged to get a perfect score. Gymnasts are so hard on themselves because we train hours on hours for literally like 2 minutes on the equipment. When I was about 4 years old, 5, I was at a neighborhood swimming pool with my mom and my sister, and I saw 2 gymnasts flipping into the water, and one of them, her name was Lauren Johnson, and the other one was Jenna Rachels. And Jenna was an elite gymnast, and Lauren actually ended up going to UGA, and I just saw them do a flip into the pool, and I just told my mom, like, I want to do that, and my mom was like, oh, perfect, and then like went and talked to Lauren's mom and was like, my child is hyper, and she wants to do this, and then that's how I got started.
When Lea was 4 years old, I dreamed of having a little ballerina, so I put her in dance class, and that was great until I took her to the pool one day and she saw some girls walking on their hands, some other gymnasts, and that was it. She was sold. I took her, signed her up for gymnastics the next week, and that was history. She was sold every week, every day, and she kept increasing her skills.
The coach was like, oh wow, she's really good. We should put her in 2 times a week, and then 2 classes every week went to 3, and then 4, and then that's just like kind of how it went. In club, we do sometimes 32 plus hours. Like we would train 8 o'clock in the morning to 3:30 in the afternoon with an hour lunch break.
when she was young, we had her in a lot of different sports, but as she fell in love with gymnastics, we found that her training, the days increased, the time involved increased, so we had to give up the other things. She's the youngest of 7 children, so it was definitely a challenge for my husband and myself to get all the children to where they needed to be, and we made it happen somehow, some way.
You have to say a lot more no's than yeses, especially if you go to public school. You don't get the chance to like go to the school dances, to go to some of the field trips because you're like, oh no, sorry, I can't hang out today, I have training. And even for me, like my junior and senior year, we had national competition, so I didn't even get to go to prom.
So we've lived in this house actually my whole life. Like my parents came here, they lived with my grandma, which will pass her house actually. My grandma and my aunt lived there, literally down the street from us. They've also lived there since they came to the U.S. about 26 years ago for my parents. My grandma's been here a little longer.
Unfortunately, I grew up in the Civil War. When I was 10 years old, at that time, Civil War started in Lebanon. And I spent pretty much most of my youth and teenage and my college back in Lebanon while Civil War was going on.
There is supposed to be a ceasefire in the Lebanon, but it means nothing. There have been 28 ceasefires, and each of them has been followed by even fiercer fighting. It's now a year since Lebanon's social tensions finally and inevitably exploded into war.
We used to bike here all the time, walk here. Grandma would make us dinner, then we'd just go home. Or if we wanted like treats and candy, we'd just go there. She'd always spoil us. It's probably why we were heavier set kids, because we're so close to Grandma.
We have over 18 or 22 different religions in this very small country. And when Civil War started, at that point, it started between Christian and Palestinian refugees in Lebanon. And lasted about few months, and all of a sudden, the war converted from being Lebanese-Palestinian to Christians, Muslims. And then the war started taking different phases.
We used to go to Lebanon all the time when I was younger, but we went to Lebanon last summer, and it was actually to really see what he went through and where he lived, being older, where he went to college, everything he went through. It makes you feel very blessed. Seeing like 7 kids in a small house, or working for his dad, this little shack he showed us.
All of a sudden you start seeing Muslims fighting Muslims, Christians fighting Christians, Muslim, Druze, everybody fighting for power and positioning in a country. And they split the country at that time to literally 5-6 pieces. I was from South Lebanon. To come to Beirut to finish my education, I used to take the boat because I couldn't travel through the land because I would have been killed if I was caught on the road as a Christian traveling from South to Beirut.
They're just hearing the stories that they're like, they're lucky to be alive. Like when you talk to my mom, she's kind of hard of hearing in one ear because so many bombs went off around her house that some days they didn't know what they were going to wake up to, or every day I kind of wake up to a nice breakfast, clean room, clean house. Or for them, every day was kind of like a question mark, what was going to happen the next day.
We came here because of the war. We went through a lot, John and I, and you don't want to know what we went through. It's really disaster. When we came here, we came because we need peace. We cannot keep doing that over there, especially if we want to raise a family over there. There is no peace over there.
My father passed away here. He came to visit my brothers and got very ill and passed away. And his last wish for my older brother to bring rest of the family to the U.S. because it's safer. And at that point, we could be all together, all of the siblings together. So my older brother honored my dad's last wish, and he started the process, and we ended up moving all of us to Detroit.
back series. Back handspring, lay out, step out, and she's off the beam.
Say you had a bad day in practice or you did bad at a meet, instead of just like moving on from it, like, oh, it's fine, it's life, it happens, you'll get it next time, it would almost like make me like so upset at myself. Like I just felt like I let everyone down, and I feel like I felt that way because my identity was so much in gymnastics.
We would play cards with her, and she had to win the last hand. We had to keep playing until she won the last hand. She's always been a perfectionist. I remember one of her first meets, she got a 9.8, I think, on beam, and that's near perfection, and she needed to know why she didn't get the last 2/10, and the coach actually had to take her over to the judges so they could explain.
If I did good, I felt like I was great, like I was perfect. I mean, not perfect, but like a great person. And then if I did bad, I literally felt worthless, and I feel like that's not a good way to be. Having the mentality that we have to aim for perfection every single time. Like if you're anything less than perfect, then it's a deduction. I was so caught up in like not wanting to let my parents down, my teammates down. We were like machines, not really like having to like be able to love the sport, because we were always like competing against our friends. Like it was always like, you're training to be the best, you have to be perfect. Coming to college really helped me find who I was, because it was like a different joy for the sport. Like all those years of hard work finally paid off. Being a part of a team really helped me realize that it's not about me. Like I have to have my teammates back just as well as they have to have my back, and I feel like that's helped me grow into a selfless person, and realizing that I love gymnastics and it's a gift, but it's not my identity.
I think her confidence and her leadership has grown. She's always taken on that leadership role, but I feel that as she's maturing and she's had the opportunity at Michigan State, I've seen her blossom as a leader and taking on more of a leadership role, putting others before herself. She speaks up for what she believes to be right. She stands up for her teammates at all times.
It could change like this, like in a snap. So we really have to just know who we are, whether we have gymnastics or not. When you find out who you truly are, like your true identity, that helps you in the gift that God has given you. So for me, figuring out I have leadership qualities and just helping others and a passion and a hard work ethic, I think that helps contribute to my sport, so that way I can be successful outside of gymnastics, but also use those attributes to be successful in the gym as well. Michigan State Gymnastics has given me a family outside of my actual family. Freshman year, I was a leader by action, but I was kind of on the quiet side, and they really helped me get my voice back out there.
I think it goes without saying, she's our pride and joy. We have other children, of course, we're proud of all of them, and her being our youngest, just to see her, excel at what she loves to do, and the opportunities that Michigan State has given her is just unbelievably, it makes us so proud and so happy as parents.
Michigan State has helped me become a better leader, be vocal, having confidence in myself, and knowing that I'm more than just the gymnast they recruited. I'm definitely going to cherish this last year and a half in the sport that I loved and grew up doing. I'm going to really aim this year and next year just to give it all that I have, like all my parents' sacrifices and my own individual sacrifices. I'm just going to really push myself and enjoy every moment.
Nothing was given to him. He didn't come from a high-income family in Lebanon, and then when he came to the U.S., he had no money in his pocket. He started working at salons, and if you see my dad, he's bald, so it doesn't really work.
Around 1989, 1990, I started small business exporting cars and auto parts from Detroit to the Middle East. And after Gulf War I, pretty much I went out of business, and then I started looking for a small local business to start.
And then his buddy told him about the gas station business and said, you should get into it, like, you'd do well.
I struggled at first accepting the idea of being in a gas station, but then I said, I'll give it a shot. I tried it, I like it.
Still couldn't speak the language when he bought his first gas station, so he'd have a dictionary in one hand, and he would talk to the customer with the other hand and kind of translate back and forth what he was doing.
From that point on, I decided to start expanding.
Then next thing you know, he bought 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, and he just kept expanding. He owns liquor stores, he owns Tim Hortons, and he actually just bought a resort and hotel in Lebanon.
For us, we always tell them, if you have any job anywhere, remember guys, around this circle, there is no one. Family is number one, and the rest come number 2.
To be successful in life, even though you could be successful as a businessman, but you could be failure as a father or failure as a family person. That means you did not accomplish anything. First accomplishment is to have a true family, good family, loving one another and supporting each other.
I think the boys will see how much we're doing for them. Maybe this is very important in their life for the future, for their family, that when you have a child, you have to make sure you're not alone anymore. There is somebody else you have to take care and have to put them in the right road.
He didn't understand the game of hockey, but he understood work ethic. He knew when I worked hard, he knew when I didn't. If I scored 2 goals, I would come in the car after some games, he'd be like, you didn't play well. Like, what do you mean? I scored 2 goals, Dad. He goes, you didn't work hard. You didn't back check. You didn't forecheck hard. You got lucky and scored 2 goals, but that doesn't mean you played well. You got lucky today. And then it's kind of what he didn't say. Well, win or lose, you can control your work ethic. You can control how hard you work. And it's the same thing with off the ice. There's days he would actually sit in our driveway in a lawn chair and run sprints for me, my brother and I for hours and hours on end.
Many kids play hockey. Dad or mom played the game before, or some relative played the game, and they gave them all the tips, advice, support, the whole 9 yards. Pretty much we're starting from scratch, even though I didn't know where to buy his gears from to start with. But the message was, if that's the game you choose, you must give it 100% day in, day out. By end of the day, no matter how successful you are, you could look at the mirror and see yourself and you say, I give it my best shot.
He wanted us to give it everything we got, and he wanted to instill work ethic in us like we always talk about. And if we weren't going to do something 100%, then he said not to do it. Like, if you don't want to give hockey 100%, then just go play for your high school. There's no reason to pay for AAA. There's no reason to pay for travel hockey. If you want to do it for fun, that's fine. But if you want to go to the next level, and if you want to make it and be successful in it like he has in business, then this is what it takes, and he wanted to show us what it took to get to that level.
The Spartans trying to respond here. Stevens' shot doesn't get through. Ghafari scores! Butrus Ghafari squeezes it in from the blue line, and Michigan State opens up their scoring.
I have a quote on my phone that says, prove him wrong. Because when my dad first came to the US, people said, oh, don't do gas stations. Some people told him to, some people told him not to. Some people said, why are you going back to Lebanon to start this foundation? Like, it's not safe. And he always just said, prove him wrong. Like, people said you aren't going to play Division I hockey because you started at 10 years old, prove him wrong. People say you're too short to play, prove him wrong. Doesn't matter what aspect it is in life, whether it's 4-pointing an exam or beating a top-rated team or just winning one drill in practice, just prove him wrong.
If you asked me this question 15 years ago, would you ever see your kid playing D1 sport? I would have laughed at you. End of the day, if he ended up playing hockey or he moved on to real life, I'm very proud, and I cannot say enough how grateful and pleased I am with the accomplishment he made up to this point.
I think about all the things my parents went through in Lebanon during the war, not being safe every day, to what I have here where I wake up and I just drive to the rink. Like, I don't have any worries. I'm just like, I'm good to go. I'm safe. I'm sound. Like, I come to the rink, work hard every day, and try to instill what my dad instilled in me and my teammates. Doesn't matter if we're up 5-0 or we're down 3-0 like we have been before. If you keep working hard, things will happen right.